Welcome everyone to the 5th episode of Tech Talk.
I'm Roy for the tech.
And I'm Earl for the talk.
Just like before, we're still in quarantine, but unlike before, we're now in the early weeks of the online classes. So, Earl, I would like to ask a question.
Sure, lay it on me.
Question. What is the name of an awareness month that is also the topic of this podcast? And what month does it fall under?
Alright, I'm gonna take a wild guess here. Is it mental health awareness?
Yes.
Alright, that's the theme now for the month. Okay, is it on October?
Wow, did you just search it up? Yes, it is.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I looked it up.
Uh-oh.
What are you thought about? We make this show together. Of course I'm gonna know.
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah. Mental health awareness. And it's on October. But we're doing it early because it's really important. Especially in online classes, yeah.
Parang Pasko sa mga Pinoy, bro. Sobrang aga natin. Kailangan sobrang aga, bro. It's tradition to do things really early, you know? Because we like doing things early. Aside from Christmas, we also like arriving in our love interests' homes early. We also like being to school early. And we definitely also like eating early. I know I do.
But you're missing something here.
Ano bro?
Going to the airport 5 hours early.
Oh, absolutely. For especially with my family, we go there a lot earlier. Like I think 6 hours early even, just so we can skip the lines and whatnot.
All right. Let's just get on to this. But before we get to the topics, let's just have some out of topic.
Yeah, let's have some friendly banter for now, right? So, since the whole theme of the podcast is mental wellness, people need to know the importance of mental health and well-being. Don't you think so, Roy?
Yeah, definitely.
The importance of mental health is one, it's the main driving force between your productivity. That means how well you'll work. And two, it's also another main contributing factor to your emotional well-being because, you know, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking time for yourself, you're not really taking breaks from work, or you're continuously doing something that just upsets you or tires you out, you're gonna end up being upset most of the time, and you're also going to end up being mentally tired every single day. Like, this is coming from like me, since like I used to be a workaholic. If you don't pace yourself,
Same.
Yeah, we all have that syndrome, Roy. Don't worry, everyone's been through it at some point.
Yeah, I guess I still have it, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah, when it comes to like mental well-being, you really gotta learn to pace yourself, especially with work, because if all you're doing is working and you're not really making time for yourself, like let's say you're not chatting with your friends or your family at least while you're like over dinner or another activity that you can do, or you're not doing your hobbies, like let's say photography, playing video games, writing, whatever. If you're not doing things that make you happy or things that you find fun in between your work, or not making time for yourself, you're gonna end up a mess. And this is coming from experience.
Yeah, I guess I really should play some games other than Animal Crossing.
Well,
I don't know, because it's kind of been taxing on me for a while now.
Yeah, to be honest, Animal Crossing is fun, but it can get repetitive because the whole theme of the game is patience. You gotta really just wait for things to happen, and like that's the rewarding part, is when it actually arrives. The way I would describe Animal Crossing, Roy, is it's kind of like a supplementary game to sort of complement other games that you play. If you want something more fast-paced, you should probably turn to FPS shooters. May I suggest Valorant?
I know you guys have been recommending me that game for I don't know how long, weeks already, and I still haven't downloaded it yet.
Alright, so moving on to another way for you to keep yourself healthy, like mentally healthy, you should always express yourself and talk about how you feel. You know, sometimes when you play video games, you do things you like, you take a break, but you still feel awful. Maybe it's rooted in another issue, and maybe you just need to find someone to talk about it, you know? Like, it's not really like, you know, you just gotta voice out your feelings, because you don't really need to solve it like logically. Sometimes you just need to talk about how you feel and it'll go away, because if you keep ignoring your emotions, then they tend to pile up and build until eventually it all explodes, which we hope it doesn't get to that point. But a great way to really just avoid that sort of thing is to just voice it out, talk to someone about it, and make sure, like, just tell them to listen. You don't really need them to solve it, or you don't need a solution for it. You just sort of need to feel it. You know what I mean, Roy? Like, just need to really feel it.
Yeah, sometimes I get this happiness just by either listening or just talking to someone.
Exactly.
Because it has this grounding feeling.
Yeah, it feels like you're much more rooted.
There.
Yeah, like it's much more rooted. I can understand that, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like you really need to you really need someone to talk to. Everyone needs someone to talk to. Absolutely, because that's another contributing factor to keeping yourself mentally healthy. Just voicing out your feelings to your friends or family and just telling them to listen, and talking through those feelings. Because not everything needs to be solved with logic and reason. Sometimes you just feel things and you don't really know why. And that's what makes us all human at the end of the day. It's what makes us all people. We always feel things and sometimes we don't know why. It's best just to feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, so of course the third and most important topic like for mental wellness is of course taking time for yourself. I already mentioned this before. Always take breaks from with what you're doing. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're eating right, you're taking baths, and I mean that. Make sure you take a bath, alright?
Because I know some people, not you, definitely not you.
No,
I know some people.
Mo.
No, I know that you take a bath every day. But what I'm saying is that some people do not take a bath because, we're in the middle of a pandemic and we're just staying at home. And
Dude,
since classes are online, this gives some people the excuse to not take a bath.
Yeah, like
and please take a bath.
This isn't like
hygiene, please.
Like they're using the excuse like, oh, I'm not going out anyway, so wag na ako maligo. Like don't be that person, alright? Take a bath because one, you're with your family. Of course, they're gonna smell you from a mile away. And two, paano pag in order ni sir, like yung teacher mo, buksan yung cam mo, 'di ba? Tapos mukha kang ganun, 'di ba? Mukha kang kakalaba mo lang, mukhang tumakbo ka lang, nag-jogging ka kahit nasa bahay ka lang. Oh my god, dude. Sobrang nakakaya 'yun.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, like more or less, you really need to take time and make sure you take care of yourself. And a good way to do that is finding ways to spend time so that you're not always doing nothing,
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's easier said than done, but there's a lot of things you can get into, try getting into new hobbies, For me personally, I actually got back into reading books. And I actually wanted to learn more about Moby Dick, like the one with the whaler. Like I actually wanted to get into reading that because, I've heard about it ever since I was a kid, but I've never gotten around to reading it. Like that's also this is the pristine time to actually start getting into new hobbies. I've already mentioned this. We've mentioned this, Roy, in previous podcasts, but it's important that we actually capitalize on this, because we have so much free time at this point. If you want to do something, just do it. And I've also gotten a lot into cooking. I learned how to make a mean grilled cheese sandwich. Thank you, Binging with Babish. Not plugged, by the way.
And the same as you, I've been cooking lately. I've been cooking those Korean rice bowls because they're easy to make.
Yeah, like at first, like I thought at first too, like it was harder to make, but no, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not. It just takes 15 minutes of your time.
Yeah, and it's good. It always comes out great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so just for a little bit more off topic. Also, there's been something circulating on Facebook, alright, about the Travis Scott burger, and I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is as well. Like all I know, it's just that McDonald's burger, not plugged by the way, that just has an exorbitant amount of mayonnaise
and bacon. Apparently, bacon too.
Yeah, I guess this is basically Fortnite Burger Part 2.
Yeah, it's Fortnite Burger Part 2, except it's actually real and people actually can order it.
Come on, McDonald's Philippines, get to it.
Get to it. I want to try it, even though there's copious amounts of mayonnaise in there, like the Jollibee burgers. Speaking of that, Jollibee burgers always have copious amounts of mayonnaise. Like, why does it have so much mayonnaise, bro?
It's not really mayonnaise. It's a combination of ketchup and mayonnaise.
Yeah,
it's something that I really like.
I mean, it tastes good, but too much kind of ruins the whole burger experience, because sometimes it can only go one of two ways. Either they put enough and it tastes great, or they put too much and it ends up just being it feels like you're just eating a wet mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so finally, let's move on to the tech section, the real meat and bones of the podcast. I love saying that, meat and bones.
Meat
Parang
and bones.
bulalo. Oh, parang bulalo.
Yeah.
All right, so
You're making me hungry.
sarap magbulalo ngayon, especially na malamig. Tsaka malakas ang ulan, at least dito sa amin.
Alright.
So all my Pasig residents, it's a good time to eat some sinigang or some stew. Okay, so moving on.
Are you going to talk about apps?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about physical fitness apps because again,
Alright.
it is about we are talking about mental wellness and well-being and whatnot. So what better way to do that than with physical fitness apps? You see, and no, I am not scamming anyone here. It's been studies have shown that by exercising, your body tends to release a lot more like happy hormones, like endorphins, dopamine, all of that stuff, all right? All that good cocktail of happiness juice that makes you feel good about yourself. And physical fitness has also shown that by people who exercise can actually focus a lot more than people who don't. So,
I really
if you
should
just get up,
start getting a move on instead of just walking and pacing around the house. Yeah, I should exercise more.
Yeah, you actually, Roy, fun fact, when you start moving around, pacing out, like, how you're pacing around and you space out from time to time, sometimes even talking to yourself, at least in my case, that's actually your body, like, subtly telling you that you need to exercise or at least move around because you've been sitting in one position for far too long or you haven't gotten exercise. Think of it like a safety mechanism for your body so that you don't end up having too much energy or you don't end up like becoming too stationary for 1 minute for like too long. That's why you always have the urge to get up and pace around and do random things, it's like a safety mechanism.
Just
so
doing nothing but pacing around.
But to the main point is there's a direct link between physical fitness and mental health. Absolutely, dude. Like, Roy, did you know that people who exercise a lot more, like who exercise daily or at least go to the gym or have some sort of exercise regimen, end up being more energized in the mornings, are more productive, and also end up being able to focus a lot more than people who don't. So even if you just jog for 15 minutes a day, you move around, do basic, exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, planking, all that good stuff for at least just 30 or 15 minutes a day, it's going to make a huge impact in your day-to-day life. Trust me on this. This is coming from someone who's done it firsthand. And it actually makes your head a lot more clearer and makes you less like sad, it makes you less depressed or something. Less depressed. Take it from someone. Take it from me. What about you, Roy? What about you, Roy? You've been doing any exercises lately?
Take it as you will.
It is true. It is the pandemic, and sometimes it's hard to move, because the bed is so soft and food tastes so good. We all
or that you don't have much space in your house.
Oh, I can relate to that. Absolutely. That's why I sometimes do it in the living room, like when no one's around, or I just run it up and down the stairs like a lunatic until my mom yells at me to stop. All right. So
PE will be a challenge.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, but we'll get through it. We'll find different ways.
We'll get there. I'll find a way.
So let's give so here are examples of some free apps you can use. The first one is actually pre-installed with in everyone's Samsung phone if you're a user of Samsung. It's called Samsung Health. Yeah, it's absolutely free. Believe me, this is really useful because aside from having like a calorie intake, it pretty much has everything you need for a fitness app. It has your daily caloric intake. It monitors how long you sleep, how long you've been walking versus how long you've been running, and it even monitors your heart rate if you have a heart rate scanner on your phone, which I have one.
I'm checking my equivalent on my phone. Huawei Health. It does around the same thing.
Yeah, more or less these pre-installed health apps have a lot more functionality than you'd think because when I actually open up Samsung Health, there are also workout regimens on it that you can download. These are just workout regimens actually made by people actual gym instructors. And one of them is you can actually pick whichever one you want. There's one for yoga, there's one for CrossFit, there's one for boot camp, which is general workouts. There's one for cardio, and there's even one for sports and stuff. That I was surprised by how much variety you would get. And most of them are comprised with just basic workouts you can do at home, and even ones I didn't know you could do Other like quirky ones that you could do, like burpees.
I'm also at the same time I'm actually checking the Huawei Health app right now. Let's see, the exercises that you can do at least in the app is outdoor running, indoor running, walking, and cycling.
Yeah, more.
I should really use the indoor running feature.
Yeah, because sometimes the indoor running feature just has you running in place for a certain amount of time, and it's really really useful. Trust me on this. Like it absolutely is. Or
Especially with the fitness tracker, more like smartwatch that I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really should get to use it more often.
it monitors how far you've gone, like your mileage, your heart rate, and all that good stuff for fitness. So. Alright, so moving on is what makes this app so good is one, it's pre-installed on your phone. Two, it's really simple and easy to use. And three, it has a community feature where you can share your progress or you can ask questions to other users of Samsung Health about if you have like concerns about how to do a particular workout. And of course, one of the most important features this phone has is you can actually pick whatever regimen you're comfortable with. Like let's say you don't want a high intensity workout. You don't want a hit cardio workout and you want something more mild. This app has that. You can have something a lot more mild and a lot easier to do because it's kind of hard to keep doing the same workouts every day and sticking to it. So most people tend to gravitate to stopping it and like trying something else. But the best way to actually avoid getting yourself in a rut is by making it reasonable. Instead of saying to yourself like, okay, every day I'm gonna do this like high
And then not
intensity
do
workout.
it.
And then
And
like
then not do it, yeah.
no, you do it for a couple weeks, but then you immediately stop because nakakatamad siya, which is
Yeah.
sakit natin lahat nun. So instead, make it a lot more reasonable and a lot more like realistic. At least in my case, ang ginagawa ko is instead of making it every week, I usually do it around 2 to 3 times a week. Just so I can.
Bi-monthly?
Yeah. So I can just do it simple, like I can do it like easily. I can just adjust it whenever I want. And if I'm in the mood to actually lose a lot, like to move around a lot more, then I can switch it to high intensity that I can do for like something like 2 weeks straight or something. More or less, this is the important feature that this app has, and that is you can pick what's comfortable to you. And people need to understand that in order for you to get a good workout, consistency is key, and you also have to pick what works for you.
Yeah.
Alright,
so enjoyment as well.
Yeah, also an enjoyment. Absolutely. You're gonna just roll up outside looking all buff and stuff, or you've lost weight, and you're gonna look much better, and you're gonna feel a lot healthier and feel better.
Oh, hell yeah.
Alright, so let's move on to another app. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this app also like makes sure to notify you when you should be doing your workouts. It also notifies you if you've gotten enough sleep, and even notifies you if you've been eating enough. If you just always input how much you've eaten, or what you've been eating in the actual app itself. So the second app I have, actually these are two apps, but more or less they're the same, which is home workouts for men, and another one which is home workouts for women, and it's self-explanatory. Like, okay, Roy, do you know that? This is one of the apps highly recommended on the App Store. It's basically a picture of like a cartoon like buff guy. Like there's an illustration of a buff guy doing push-ups in a red background. This is basically that. All right.
Yeah.
And I've actually used it before, and it's really good because unlike Samsung Health, it doesn't have all the unique features like monitoring your sleep and whatnot. Instead, it's straight to the point. It asks you immediately when you first open the app is what do you want to achieve. Like you can say that I want to get it's going to give you like an actual like option. You can either choose to lose weight, you can choose to build muscle, you can choose to build endurance, and it's going to give you like a wide variety of options to choose from. And whichever one you choose, it's going to tailor a specific workout for you. All right, like this is like it's gonna give you a regimen that you have to follow for a month. And you can also choose the intensity from easy and very hard being being the most intense. I can tell this much: very hard is really straining. So I would recommend that if people just want a good home workout or just want to get fit or something, just set it to medium or easy because it's a lot more easier to do.
Yeah. So like easy at first for beginners, and then when you get the hang of it, go to medium.
Yeah. When you get the hang of it, go to
Alright.
medium. And if you want to really push yourself, then go to hard or even very hard. But you have to just make sure that you can do it consistently because these workouts can get hectic. I can say that. And don't worry, a lot of them have the option for you not to use weights and also to use weights. So for people who don't have any weights at home, you can just do the workouts that use your body weight or have an alternative for that. Because this app has a lot of alternatives. And there's even like a and what I like about this app that Samsung Health doesn't have is that it actually shows you a video or like a GIF of like how to actually do the workouts. So for example, if you don't know how to do push-ups, which is pretty basic, it'll show you an illustration like a GIF of how to actually do push-ups properly. Align your hands to your shoulders and also make sure you touch the ground and then move all the way up. All right, don't try and cheat by hovering just an inch above the ground and going back up. That's not how you do push-ups. You actually have to touch the ground. But yeah, that's just an example. And you do this for a whole month, and after the month, like, you can have a choice to either take another one, or you can make your own.
Make a new one?
Or you can make your own.
Make a new one.
Yeah, you can make your own. Like, you can choose to take another one, or you can make your own. So you can either choose to take another pre-made one, or you can just choose to make your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that.
You can customize your own workouts to, for example, if you don't like doing like ab crunches. Personally, I don't like doing ab crunches. It really hurts my abdomen and pretty much any ab workout because it just mahina kasi talaga abdominals ko, bro. Like, I've tried working it out. It's so hard. And like usually I don't like doing that, so instead I opt to find like an alternative and just tend to do the easier like ab crunches, at least the ones I can do consistently and have proper form doing, because I don't want to end up hurting myself, so I always have to make sure I have proper form and whatnot, and I can do it consistently. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the one for women. It's the same thing, they're just the same thing. They tailor workouts for you, they notify you of when you should start working out, and they even like they pretty much recommend you an entire workout.
All right, so basically the same thing anyway.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, except it doesn't have the fancy features and whatnot, and also it's free. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that important details. Pretty much this is free. Like, both of these apps, for men and for women, they're both free, so you can go on download in the App Store.
Do you have any more apps?
Yeah, I actually have the third and pretty much the last app, which is losing weight for men, or belly buster for men. And what that is it's a app for you to lose weight, but it gives really good cardio exercise. There's a lot of people who've been reviewing on the App Store, like I forgot how many, but it's received praise because it's not just good for losing weight, it's also really good for a cardio workout, for you to actually get detoxify yourself, get that much needed movement so that you can sleep well at night. And also, here's a little recommendation that the app actually gives you. It recommends that you try stretching like your entire body 10 minutes before you go to sleep, because just by stretching it loosens your muscles and makes it so that when you go to sleep, you can go to sleep much faster and you sleep much better. And I've actually tried it.
I should try that as well.
Like, it's really good, man. Like, it makes a huge difference versus not stretching, because when you wake up,
I'll do that.
Roy, how
I'll do that.
All right, Roy, how when you wake up in the morning and your muscles are so stiff, you feel so stiff and your head hurts? Yeah, apparently that's because your body hasn't been moving a lot, or you haven't gotten exercise at all, and your body your muscles are becoming really stiff, and you just feel like a brick. That's the best way to describe it. It feels like you're trying to move a ton of bricks around. But when I woke up in the morning, it's much easier to move. I don't have like that headache I have usually in the morning. And I find myself being able to do a lot more things, like cooking breakfast for my family. Like, it makes a huge difference. I recommend this to everyone. Start stretching before you go to sleep. It's not like this pseudo thing. No, it's actually real. Start stretching before you go to sleep. It makes a huge difference.
All right. I really should try that out.
So that's pretty much all of the apps I have for today. Now let's move on to the benefits of exercise. I'll just keep this short. Alright, so exercising makes it so that your body stays healthy. It also enhances muscle growth, improves mood, and of course, the topic of this podcast and the main theme is it also improves mental health. There's a direct correlation of physical fitness and mental health. Always keep that in mind. Even just a little bit of exercise will improve your mood. Trust me on this. And of course, exercising makes it so that increases blood flow, makes it much easier, and also it also lessens the chance of low blood pressure and high blood pressure, since your body's moving a lot more, your heart's pumping around the blood much better. So yeah, make sure to get a lot of exercise, or just get some exercise, if not a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much that's all I have for that. So anyway, Roy, let's move on. What do you have for us today?
Well, just like you, I actually have a list of apps to talk about.
Yeah, this is why it's Tech Talk,
baby.
baby. We gotta talk about them apps and new tech.
Yeah, just like for the past 3 episodes. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll keep this short because I have 3 sections for this. Games to keep you fit. So basically exercise, but it's games.
Ooh.
Okay, so those apps that soothe your mind, just, something to space out on. And apps or games to keep focus. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get started.
All right, let's get right into this.
Okay, so I named this Fit in Quarantine. Exercise
Okay.
games to keep fit. Oh, hell yeah.
To keep fit in quarantine. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah. So, why games? Well, just like what you said earlier,
Yeah, it's fun, dude. They're
it's
fun.
fun and it gives you something to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be bored out of my mind just doing
Yeah.
nothing.
But now, it gives exercise in. So you can move your body and it will actually improve your mood. When I did this before, yeah, I felt really nice.
Yeah, you felt a lot better.
Yeah,
Which
I felt really nice. I'm
There's the-
sure you guys will the same.
yeah, absolutely.
Will feel the same. All right, so the first one is, I'm sure you know because
Is it
I've been
Ring
talking
Fit?
about.
Is it Ring Fit?
No, that well, yeah. Let's start with Ring Fit first. This game I don't have because
It's
costs,
expensive.
Yeah, it costs
It's
5,995.
Yeah, but hey, it gives you a good workout.
Yeah, it does. Because there's like they have this ring. That's why it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's a sturdy plastic ring.
Yeah, and you basically to play the game, you basically have to to not dance, to exercise. So, do some yoga stretches to fill up that
gotta-
energy meter. Oh,
I-
look, that monster. You have to kill it. How?
You
You
gotta
have
exercise.
to do push-ups. Push-ups, baby.
Do them
Push-ups.
iron ab exercises. Yeah, do them squats.
Yeah, do them stretches. And they have apparently 100 levels. I really want to buy one.
Yeah, they have 100 levels, so that guarantees you a long time of playtime, and you don't end up playing the same level twice. And trust me, when you're having fun, you won't even realize you're losing weight. That's the best way to exercise, actually.
Yeah, some guy actually did it for like 30 days straight, and he got fit. I'm not sure how often he did it, but he did.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's these type of games. There's actually one similar to this. It's called. I'm not sure how many people will remember this, but it's called Kinect Sports. And I remember me and my sister had this when we were both in high school. Like, we would play it like every day because of how much fun it was. Think of it like Wii Sports without the remote. You just needed to connect. Me and my sister would play this for so long, and we ended up losing so much weight together because back then we were a little chubby. Now we're both fit because of that one game. So I gotta thank Kinect Sports for that.
All right, I'll move on to a game that I actually have.
I know what this
Like
is.
Ring Fit, I don't, but something similar to Ring Fit, but that I have. What is it? Do you have any idea?
Yes, because I used to own this game for the Kinect as well. Is it Just Dance?
Oh hell yeah! But this is Just Dance 2020, and I have it on my Switch.
Bro, that game's fun, not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie, my cousin actually wanted me to get this, so she basically bought it for me, and we basically used it. It's really good because, yeah, it's $40, but right now it's on sale, $20, and you get 40 songs. But if you try their Just Dance Unlimited, which has a 30-day trial, you get 500 of them. And yes,
Ooh.
it has K-pop.
Oh my! So all you K-pop stans can now just dance and get some proper exercise, and you don't have to awkwardly do it in the hallway. I'm just kidding.
No shade there. No shade.
No shade, no shade, no shade.
Yeah,
Absolutely
you
no
have. There's an 15-minute exercise mode there. I actually used it. It's nice.
shade. Yeah,
It's tiring, but it's nice.
It gets your body moving, man. Just get your body moving, and believe me, your mood will change, and you will feel so much better about yourself.
Yeah. But remember, sometimes you feel sad because we're only by ourselves, but you can play for up to 4 people with this. So
Yeah, so you can bring in your friends, you can bring in your family.
bring your family. Because sometimes your family really does need that exercise as well.
Yeah, like sometimes it's the quarantine, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were families out there gaining some weight. It's nice to sit around, watch TV, and eat some food.
Yeah. But please get fit as well.
Yeah,
I really
please.
should. I'm going to follow my advice and turn on Just Dance 2020 after this recording.
Yeah, for me, I have to do like a bit of jogging later anyway, so it should be
Yeah.
fine.
I don't want to go out, so I'll probably just do it in the garage. All right. The final one is Wokemon or Fitness RPG. There are 2 apps, but they're basically the same.
Is this the one? Is this the app that uses your camera and like it tracks what movements you make?
No, it's a pedometer.
Oh,
It's a pedometer, but it's a game.
ooh.
You have an idea what the pedometer is?
Yeah, it's like isn't a pedometer like what monitors your heart rate and whatnot?
No.
Oh,
A pedometer is a...
for speed, right?
No. It's for steps.
Oh,
It counts your steps.
Oh yeah, steps. I forgot what a pedometer is actually. I thought it
Yeah.
was for speed, like the ones in the cars.
Alright. It's a pedometer, but it's a game.
All right.
What do I mean by that? They have a goal for 10,000 steps per day, and you can use it for giving energy to your superhero
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah, you gotta run to make sure that your superhero gets
It's
all that
very-
energy.
It's literally in the name. RPG. So it's basically an RPG that requires your steps.
Yeah, you need to start.
So if you
moving.
can get outside and do some walking or jogging, you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
All you need is a phone.
Yeah, all you need is a phone and a motivation to just walk around. But
Yeah.
you can even
Or,
do it in your own house.
Do you have a smartwatch? You can use Google Fitbit, or the Nike app integration as well. So, good.
Yeah, it's absolutely great, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay,
you got-
moving on.
What else you
Moving
got
on.
for us today, dude?
The second one is called Soothing the Mind. This is the section, okay? Soothing the Mind.
The
It's better
section,
to-
all right? It's the
The
section.
section.
All right.
The section. Okay, I only have one app here. It's called Insight Timer.
Inside timer.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me about it.
Okay, so it's free. Just like Pokemon and Fitness RPG. They're both free games. But this is not a game. This is for meditation and relaxation. Because sometimes you just really need the headspace and not thinking about anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
And they have those music tracks. They're not really music, but they're more like some of them are background music, some of them are just tunes. They don't have lyrics, but yeah, it's something to relax to.
Oh, it's like lo-fi hip-hop beats to relax and study too.
Yes.
Like, you can sit on your desk and tap your pen on the same piece of paper for a couple hours and
Yeah.
just turn the page.
Yeah. And they also have a tracking of progress to when you're meditating or using the app, for resting yourself. We really do need
Some peace
something
of
to
mind.
clear our mind. Yeah, something to clear our mind for at least a while.
Yeah, that something that isn't sleeping.
Yeah. They also have a subscription offer because they have courses, meditation courses.
Oh, meditation.
What?
Oh, sorry, meditation corpses. Sorry, I burped a little bit and I wanted to hide it from the recording, but it was in vain.
All right. They have, if you do get their subscription, you get offline playback. So basically, a downloaded version of the music tracks to rest and relax to.
Ah. I can just imagine like the playlist, like
Yeah.
lo-fi hip hop beats to meditate and get enlightened to.
Yeah. And they also have high quality audio for that if you do get their
Ooh.
subscription service. But it does cost 5,995 per year. So the free one, basically most of it except the meditation courses, would get you really far already.
Yeah,
You
like,
don't need to pay.
yeah, and that's
anymore.
without paying, right? And if you want to delve deeper, you want to get deeper in it, then you can always pay for
Yeah.
the subscription.
Yeah, these are those kinds of apps that actually have the subscription as a nice to have instead of something that's really required.
Yeah, like that's absolutely like that's the best part about this type of app. Like you don't need to pay to get the full, like to get
Yeah.
at least a taste of the experience. You'll get enough already, or like more than enough, just by like using the app for free, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah. Alright, that's the only app I have in that section. Moving on to the next one, and the final one is keeping focus.
Oh my, yes, yes. I want games that keep me focused because I have the attention span of a 7-year-old. All right, so lay it on me. Lord. Lay
I
it
don't
on
really
me,
have
Lord.
a game for this. It's I just have two apps for this, and my tagline for this for this section is, all right, Facebook browsing is done. Time to go to Twitter. So let's avoid that.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen this app been recommended in focus apps to be recommended to again and again and again, and I'll be the nth time.
Yeah, the nth time to
that.
recommend it.
Yeah, I'll be part of the nth number of people that will recommend this, and it's Forest.
Forest?
Forest. It's a distraction free app. It curbs distraction. That's what I mean.
Oh, so it curbs your distraction so that you can focus on one thing. All right, so tell me
Yeah,
more
it's
about
basically an entertaining way to keep off your phone.
it.
Like,
So okay,
please, you're studying. Please, just don't use your phone. I know
Don't.
it's tempting,
but don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a test of patience.
It's a test of patience. Please don't fail. Like your phone is begging you not to.
Yeah. It's because it's an entertaining way to keep off your phone. It actually has an achievements board, and it even has an achievements history. So it's basically saying, "Oh, look, you've earned this.
All
Be
right.
proud of yourself."
Yeah, it has achievements so you can keep track of your progress. That's also a good thing. And I gotta add this. Sometimes it can get frustrating if you just focus on like your studies for too long and you're tempted to go for your phone. And there's a saying that I really like is "Huwag mainis, mahalang patis." Oh, yeah, there's something around that, like around that "Huwag mainis, mahalang patis." Like I really like that saying.
Yeah. And yeah, if you guys, any one of you guys in the audience have listened through our podcast before, you would think, but I just recommended a few episodes ago on
Yeah, on focus apps.
on focusing apps that's already in your phone. Why do I have to, download an app when you specifically told me to not do that? And this is what I mean. This is technically a game. And let's be honest to ourselves. Just having a simple app lock that's built into your phone that you're probably just gonna disable anyway.
Isn't really worth it.
It's
Yeah,
not really worth it because you're basically just gonna cheat.
yeah, and you'd be like disable.
Yeah, and you'll be like, disable app lock. And we're back to where we started.
Yeah, so
this
it's
is
really
basically
discipline. It's really about discipline.
this is
dude.
basically honing discipline by making it a game. You're basically growing a virtual tree. But
Yeah,
but then if you get distracted and use your phone while the countdown
The tree dies. The tree dies.
Yes.
You
Yes.
killed the tree.
Yes, you made it wither.
You made light of life, and you made the tree wither. Alright, that's a little dark. It died because you couldn't stop looking at your apps, just because you couldn't make that one funny post on Facebook. You couldn't stop yourself. Or starting another argument on Twitter for like the nth time. You couldn't stop yourself. You just had to do it, didn't you? Now the tree's dead.
But don't worry, it will grow again. Okay,
just gotta
enough of that. Enough of that. Oh yeah, one more feature that Forest has is whitelisting for those essential apps that you really need. But don't go abusing it now.
Don't be like, oh, Facebook is an essential app because I could share so many memes. Haha, look, it's me sharing Stickbug for like the 17th time. I'm so funny and quirky. All right, no shade.
Let's move on to the final app that I have. Study Bunny.
Study Bunny.
It's a glorified timer app.
that name's fun. Like that name just sounds strange to me. Study Bunny. I can just
It's
imagine.
not a plushie. It's not a plushie.
Is it a rabbit on your desk? What is it?
You already know that I'm talking about apps. So it's an iOS and Android app.
All right.
And it's a gamified timer app, like what I just said not a minute ago. It gives you in-game currency when keeping focused. But here's the thing, you can't buy those in-app currencies, so you have to earn it. You have to earn it by being diligent on not distracting yourself on your phone.
And you gotta be disciplined, alright? Yeah, you gotta absolutely be disciplined. You can't take the easy way out, alright?
Yeah, and as a reward, you get to have your virtual bunny have those really nice things that you can buy with your in-game currency.
Yeah, dude, like absolutely. I don't have like a nice gaming table, but this rabbit can have that. My rabbit can at least have that.
Oh, do you want some motivational advice when you have a break? Basically, you pause the timer.
Yeah.
It gives you some advice, like. I actually don't have any advice. Sorry. It just gives you advice, but don't go spending too much on the pause feature because you won't earn as much in-game currency as you will. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right, so go on. Keep going.
All right,
Don't worry, I'm just listening. I don't want to talk over you. Go on.
All right. It has some additional features. It has a to-do list function.
Oh yeah, so you can keep track of things you need to do.
It's mainly for studying, so it has a to-do list and a flashcards feature as well, and a tracker to when you've been studying. So make it what you will.
Yeah, make of it what you will. Basically, this is an app that you have to use and tailor, like to yourself. Only you can say how useful this thing is gonna be. I'm assuming that's what you want to say, Roy.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, that's all I have.
All right,
that's all the time we have for tonight.
All right, let's move on to hobbies and pastimes. A good way to take care of yourself during these troubling times. And what better way to do that than tabletop RPGs and other board games to play with friends? We got the online Dungeons and Dragons. All right. The online Dungeons and Dragons, all right, to put it in a nutshell, more or less, is you and your friends making character sheets. The DM, like one guy arguing with the DM over why he can't do something ridiculous, like for example, throw an ice cream cone at like the orc gang leader, and then stab him in the back while he's trying to wipe his ice cream off his face. All right, basically this type of stuff. All right, it's more or less like this type of like that's basically D&D in a nutshell. But the thing about D&D that makes it so great is, one, you can roleplay as your favorite like race. Like you can be an elf, you can be an orc, you can be like a halfling, you can be a dwarf, you can be whatever you want, and at the same time you can get creative with how you approach specific scenarios in game. So for example, if you need to slay, like let's say you need to sneak past a dragon, but the problem is that since it's snoring, the smoke coming from its nose is covering the exact path where you need to go. And like you have to craft a solution, you have to theory craft a solution to get past that. And at the end of the day, like no matter how good your solution is, it's always at the mercy of the roll of the dice, because the DM and his dice decide whether what you do is going to succeed or not. It's always based on the dice.
We really should get back to D&D.
I'm not sure. I don't know any free D&D games, but I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of free ones that you can have. And also there are also for more tabletop RPGs, there are also free ones that you can actually have. Like there are other free pre-made tabletop RPGs that people make online that anyone can just download and use. In fact, if I remember, was it Jollibee or Wendy's that had, or KFC that had like a D&D campaign that anyone could just download and use? Was it?
I'm not sure. I don't
But yeah,
know.
basically one fast food restaurant made a D&D campaign that anyone can just download and use. Like can use for an actual campaign. And I can't say it with a straight face that you can say Sir Jollibee of Chicken Joyland can now go ahead and slay like Ronald the Evil Clown McDonald or something like that, okay? Like I can't say that with a straight face. But more or less there's a D&D campaign that's completely free to use online for that. And in terms of other RPGs, like free tabletop RPGs, there's actually one that came from a long time ago from Reddit. It's actually a Ruby tabletop RPG, okay? For those of you who don't know Ruby, like RWBY, it's basically this old like animated show that Rooster Teeth had like on their website, and like it was like a YouTube series that had potential and sounded really good. But what happened was, basically the writers messed it all up, and now the world doesn't make sense anymore. But what makes it so good is that you can have everyday household objects turned into weapons, and the fight scenes were always creative, and someone was able to make like a tabletop RPG of that. So now, let's say I want my character Johnson Bravado, all right? No way affiliated with Johnny Bravo from that animated show. Let's say I want Johnson Bravado, right? He has a sweet ass pompadour, right? And his weapon is a scythe that's also a sniper rifle. No correlation, by the way, but yeah, more or less that type of that's basically the creativity this gives you. And you can even make scenarios like the DM or the game master in this case has the freedom to make scenarios in his game in relation with that world. And for someone to be able to make this type of thing shows like how the potential that anything that you can make, as long as it's balanced, you can make the mechanics good for it, can be a tabletop RPG for pretty much anything.
Now let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So yeah, basically, and another one is 40K. Now the difference with pretty much 40K and what I've mentioned up now is 40K is so expensive to play, but there are other ways for you to play 40K. But more or less, Warhammer 40K is like a long time like tabletop RPG where you get these figurines of robots and these really beefy dudes in power armor called Space Marines that you just set up and play around different other races. Like for example, the Eldar, which are basically space elves, like Tyranids, which are hungry space bugs that's going to kill everyone and consume everything. And basically you can pick your faction. But to dumb it all down, it's basically pick your faction. Every faction has a unique buff. And every faction has unique skills, and every faction has a hero, quote unquote, as I would call them, or like a specific character that gives your army or buffs specific to that character. Basically, that's what it is. But the difference is, it's so expensive to play. Absolutely expensive. Alright, Roy,
Yeah.
you want to know how expensive it gets?
Let's see. More than 10,000 pesos.
Oh, it gets even better. It gets even more expensive than that. One entire battlefield playset, complete with the figurines, like the actual tanks and the mechs and stuff, and even the actual battlefield that you put it on, can actually go upwards of 35,000 just for the whole set.
Huh. Sounds really expensive.
Yeah, but it's a hobby. At the end of the day, if
Yeah.
it's something you're doing for leisure time and you're really into it, if you think about it, 35K is actually a pretty good like deal for it. Sort of like how we are with computers, Like
Yeah,
for example,
like
if
spending more than 70K on a computer.
or 30 or you can even say like, hey, 35K for a complete set of like a Razer keyboard, a headset, mouse, and pretty much other peripherals. Like that's a steal if you think about it. But to an outside person who's not into gaming, he's gonna be like, why is this guy blowing so much
Yeah.
money for this stuff,
Yeah. It's basically like in the flight simulator hobby as well.
Yeah, it's so expensive, but
Like this industrial grade, similar to aircraft, Airbus flight stick that costs
Oh yeah,
185,000 pesos.
I remember you said that in the GC, and I was just surprised by how expensive it is. And all it was a stick on like an actual like pedestal. It was a stick on a
Yeah.
pedestal.
Yeah. So, no shades on Hobbies. Do what you want because
do what
it's
you
on
want.
you.
There are people that spend thousands of dollars for a realistic racing rig. Like we're talking gear shifts, pedals, even like steering wheels actually like licensed and actually like tested by NASCAR and people from like what was that, Formula One, like Formula One racing. Like
Yeah.
of course it's gonna get expensive. Now let's move
Yep.
let's move away from tabletop RPGs and all that nerd stuff, alright? All that nerd stuff, okay? Let's move on to party games. We're talking, and I can't say party games if I don't talk about, i.e., Among Us. Everyone knows about Among Us.
Everyone
It's a
has.
free game that you play on iOS and Android, alright? It's a free game where two of you or one of you is the imposter, and you're all stuck on this ship, and everyone else that's not the imposter has to figure out who's the imposter and send them flying, and while at the same time accomplishing tasks that makes it so that not everyone dies, and it's the imposter's job to kill everyone without being found out. It's one of those social experiment games, kind of like Trouble in Terroristan for people who know about that. Back then in Gary's mod, back then in the Gary's mod days, it's basically that, where you have to try and kill everyone and blame. But I can tell you, the real fun of the game is the interactions you have with friends or sometimes just random people. You can say, "Hey, I was with Blue when I was fixing the wires for the oxygen tank. I was in electrics, right? It's his fault. He killed that guy." And when they send out the wrong guy, it just feels so good because you absolutely fold the pants off of someone.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Among Us, there's a PC one. It's on Steam.
Yeah, but it's
you
paid.
have to pay 160 pesos. So yeah.
And also, I'm excited because there's an upcoming release that's also gonna be free called Fall Guys on the phone. And what it is think of Wipeout, it meets a battle royale game. Basically, you versus like 40 other people or 57 other people. You gotta run towards like the finish line, and there's only a
People
limit.
more like beans.
Like they're jelly beans.
Beans.
Yeah.
Really tall beans, 183
Hey,
centimeters.
but these beans are adorable, man. They're absolutely
hell
adorable.
yeah.
Especially the Slurpee bean, like the Slurpee costume they have. It's so cute. But
Yeah.
you have to make sure that your bean. There's only a limited number of slots for people who actually go through the finish line. So if you're within, like let's say there's only out of 60 players, only 30 of them can get into the finish line. So you have to make sure your bean is one of the 30 that gets inside, and that means you've qualified. Then you move on until eventually there can only be one winner. And I absolutely am excited for this release because I've been following Among Us for quite a while. Like, not Among Us, sorry. I mean, Fall Guys for a long time. And I actually am excited for their newest update, which will actually showcase medieval stuff like dragons, castles, and even new puzzles and minigames you can play. I'm absolutely excited for this.
Yep.
Now, on the subject of other party games to play with friends, did you know you can play Cards Against Humanity for free online with your friends? Basically, Cards Against Humanity is the most offensive card game known to man. And I won't give any examples because if I did, I don't think we'd be able to release this podcast without cutting it.
Oh hell yeah.
Alright, that's basically all we have for that section. Yeah. Since we're done with our topic and all, it's time to give the time to AJ for the games section. Alright, Roy,
Alright.
let's hand it over.
All right.
Thanks, guys. I'll handle the bills from here. Hi, it's me again, AJ, with another game analysis. For today's episode, we'll be analyzing GRIS and Animal Crossing, in which we'll have spoilers. So if you're okay with that, continue on listening. Okay, so what's up with GRIS and why do I want to share this analysis of this game with you? Well, in the recent Steam Awards, GRIS won the Outstanding Visual Style Award, Best Visual Art in the Game Developer's Choice Awards, and the Game for Impact in the recent Game Awards 2019. If you look this up, it is truly an outstanding game with groundbreaking visuals. And GRIS is a game made by Nomada Studio, a Spanish indie developer, and was released for the Nintendo Switch macOS and Windows last December of 2018, and the iOS in August of 2019. Let's start with the title. Why is it entitled GRIS? I searched it up on Google, and GRIS means gray in French, also in Spanish since it was a Spanish studio. And relating the title to the game, it is the state of your character named GRIS, wherein she is in between. The emotional transition that we go through after experiencing loss, failure, etc., and before the true happiness we are longing for. GRIS is basically tied onto and represented by the Kubler-Ross model, or also known as the 5 stages of grief. The game itself makes the player see and feel the stages of grief that GRIS is experiencing through game design, aesthetics, and mechanics. At the start of the game, GRIS is singing on the palm of a female statue, a very colorful scenario that eventually she loses her voice and with the colors around her. The way the designers made these levels ties up to the psychology of color and how it is tied into different human emotions. Shocked by what happened, GRIS enters the first stage, denial. Though starting with white that ties up with purity, it is also associated with a blank state and symbolizing devastation or even a new beginning. The state of numbness, the state of unaccepting reality. From Psychom, an article from Christina Gregory, it is a state of someone living in a preferable reality. It also says that it helps the person cope and survive the grief event by only allowing some selected information. In the game, you're placed in the center, unlike in most games, wherein you're placed on the leftmost side of the screen. This design tells the player you can go right or left. Also, GRIS is still weak. She'll fall down at different times, but will stand up on her own. As you progress to the stage, the screen gets zoomed out, showing some details in the environment: birds, clouds, and landscapes. Then from walking slowly, she regains strength to progress and runs. The official game secret is called denial. It's stated that in denial, at the very beginning of the game, go right until you can move freely, then come back to the left and find the statue. Let your character fall and get up from herself. Which is a very good metaphor for someone who could not accept what just happened. She goes back to the statue, getting reminded of the time she still had her voice. The next stage would be anger. The stage has a strong red color and a few black and white parts. In games, the color red is associated with pain, aggression, and anguish. Additionally, from a study published from 2015 regarding color research and application, prolonged exposures to the red color increases heart rate. From that, it makes the players connected to the feeling GRIS is experiencing other than the color aesthetics, the environment effects, and specifically the sandstorm, metaphorically embodies the emotional outbursts and blinding rage a person could have that could make it harder for them to see what's happening. This prevents GRIS from progressing and moving forward. She needs to hide from it so she wouldn't be whisked away, and this also shows her anger is too much for her to handle. Mechanics-wise, the game's designer added a way for GRIS to make her way through the storm by giving her the ability to be sturdier and heavy. She becomes a cube, and design-wise, boxes, cubes, and squares represent stability. But other than this positive metaphor being strong enough to go past the storm, GRIS could also break things, like one small robot's home in this stage to progress. Like in life, with so much pain and anger, we could also cause pain towards other people. At one part of the stage, Grace needs to let out her anger by jumping as a cube up and down, and research shows that letting out one's anger is healthy and necessary during the grieving. The official secret of this game is called anger. In the black and white area of Chapter 2, slam the three fragile statues. Don't slam for nothing or you will get ejected. Also a metaphor for inflicting pain on someone due to lashing out. The next stage will be bargaining, the act of negotiation and giving oneself false hope. In the game, the stage is filled with green hues associated with life and starting anew. In this stage, it becomes a reassuring color and makes the player feel that it's going to be okay. The false hope. During the gameplay, Riz meets a small, shy character who she could be friends with by giving him apples. This also reflects bargaining. You tell people and show them you could fix it in order to gain their trust, and in the long run, they'll do the same. After giving the apples and helping him get back home, Gracie's little friend gives her a star needed in order to advance to the stage. Though, green isn't the only color of the stage. You'll see different hues of reds, whites, showing that the stages do not have a specific order and one could experience the two stages at once and or have hints of emotions from the other stages. Additionally, from Psych of Play, they believe that the two types of trees in this stage, the red trees and green trees, are the types of actions we have in life. The red trees are the actions we have control over, and the green ones are the actions the people around us do, in which we cannot control but can adapt. At the end of the stage, a huge black bird appears. In the psychology of color, black represents intimidation and evil. This black bird may represent the voice in her head telling that these are her faults and guilt trips her for not being able to end her own life. Another type of bargaining happens. As this progresses, Red shows up again, showing the anger she has towards these fruits. The only way to make the black bird go away is by ringing the bell. According to Psych of Play, this represents music numbing the pain. The official secret of this stage is bargaining. After some big red bird jumps, you will face a statue. Press B to try to sing in front. Like in real life, you get to have the courage to speak up towards your inner demons and tell them it's going to be different this time. The next stage is depression, filled with blue hues. This makes the player feel relaxed. The colors are associated with calmness as well. So why did the artist choose blue as the dominant color of the stage? According to Psych of Play, it is because of depression. It is a feeling of giving up. But it also feels like a small space initially, wherein it is okay that you ran away from all your problems and wouldn't be as stressed to fix it right away. In this stage, you're introduced to a new environment, a sea-like, ocean-like environment. In here, a new mechanic is also introduced to the player. GRIS is now able to swim, and this is the fastest way you can move in the game itself. It symbolizes the way depression makes us run away really fast from the things that could make us uncomfortable or stresses us out. Unlike the seas of sadness, the sea-like environment GRIS dives into is harder to escape from the deeper one goes. And again, other colors appear from time to time because you can feel your past emotion in a different stage of grief. The secret of this stage is called depression during the water chapter. In the big area where you need to have 6 stars, head to the bottom and search to the left. You will find a statue and get the achievement. This represents the loss and how deep into sadness someone's mind is once it reaches depression. In this stage, GRIS gets to have a red turtle that helps her reach the bottom parts of the sea, but she ends up where she started. In my opinion, this is GRIS's self-love, where she realizes that she shouldn't be running away from her problems anymore, and she deserves to be happy. From there, she progresses to the next stage, acceptance. She tries to sing again, but even though she still couldn't, she tried, and this is a huge step towards accepting loss. But despite reaching this stage, the player feels a bit relieved and feels accepted. But it isn't achieved easily. Black eel chases her in the depths of the sea. She once was. This represents the relapses one person gets whenever he or she tries to recover from loss, depression, and sadness. The eel symbolizes her thoughts and is trying to chase her, but not all hope is lost. This eel cannot hurt you in the game, like the way thoughts cannot hurt you physically. Also, her path is lit by small yellow lights, and for me, this represents hope. And hope can lead you to the right path, back to acceptance, slowly. And deep in the oceans may look scary, since there are only a few hints of light, but it embodies the way starting to accept and begin again, and is scary and full of what ifs. Then, suddenly, Grace finds herself being chased by the eel once more. Another relapse, and it feels endless towards the fear. She swims away from it again for the second time. But remember that the eel represents her thoughts and wouldn't harm her physically. But it will make you feel helpless as if you will be succumbed by the depression. But the red turtle representing self-love saves her from getting eaten by the eel. This shows that during relapses, we need to remember how much we worth. Let ourselves love who we are freely, and that love will give us strength to swim away from these dark thoughts. Grace now comes back to the land, illuminated by lamps, yellow butterflies, and fireflies that symbolizes hope and faith. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith towards empty spaces, but then they get to be illuminated suddenly by lamps. The castle in the sky is only seen when illuminated, and sometimes when you get there, just like in life, you'll only reach the point you want if you have a little faith. Also, in this stage, the box jump mechanic that symbolizes an emotional tantrum scares away the fireflies, which shows that anger removes hope. Additionally, in this stage, you will use all the mechanics learned throughout the stages and will be used during the right time. You would also see the castle having a mirrored upside down vision because loss can often feel like it has made your whole world upside down. But despite the challenge, hope and lessons in the other stages gave us the avenue to navigate and push through this challenge. Eventually, her voice returns to her, she gains friends, and her world goes back to normal. However, despite these normal things happening around her, the beauty, everything, dark thoughts still go back. Another relapse happens. The blackbird comes back as a form of a woman trying to envelop and eats her together with her colors once again. But Grace now tries to sing despite those thoughts. Only then Grace probably realized that by moving forward despite the fears, her world's colors could come and show up again. The secret of this stage is acceptance. During the final sequence, just after getting to the surface of the black water, sing in front of the tomb which symbolizes confrontation towards the problem and the thoughts produced by it. Greece's gameplay becomes an authentic embodiment of the five stages of grief, and which makes it aesthetically pleasing, yet also comforting game to those who struggle with loss and to those who are trying to understand loss. If you love this discussion on GRIS and how its mechanics and aesthetics work together to form it, don't forget to get it on Steam. For our next game, we'll have the all-time favorite of many gamers both in iAcademy and around the world, Animal Crossing New Horizons for the Switch. Animal Crossing is made by Nintendo and released on March 20, 2020. This game has been a hit and became the second best-selling game in the Nintendo Switch, selling 22 million copies worldwide. Long story short for Animal Crossing, you play as yourself and get to live on a deserted island together with two random villagers who most of the time have an older personality, like an older sister, and a jock personality. After purchasing a deserted island package from a Tom Nook, a Tanuki businessman who is a series staple character. The game allows customization for their characters and it doesn't limit specific hairstyles and appearances to specific genders. It is a game that makes people acquire things for the sake of acquiring things and showing them off. What makes Animal Crossing New Horizons a great game is that the goal of the game differs from person to person. My goal, for example, is completing the bugs in my Critterpedia, while for my other friends is to make their islands really cute and pretty. In a deeper sense, Animal Crossing lets their players take their gameplay, play it, and complete their goals at their own pace. Despite having depth towards Tom Nook and having a lot of projects within the game, which includes Nook's Cranny, the bridge, etc., everything can be done slowly and it doesn't feel pressuring to the player. With a calming, cute music and very easy to the eyes color palette, the overall aesthetics of Animal Crossing New Horizons, it is a really good game with the flow determined by the player itself. Although, despite Animal Crossing New Horizons' success, some few design mistakes are seen in the game. For a few, it wouldn't be as noticeable, but it doesn't affect gameplay. All in all, the inventory system becomes really full because some items like insects and fishes aren't stackable and you need to be able to expand it using Nook Miles, a currency in the game. It becomes a redeemable prize for grinding in the game rather than a core feature. So unless you don't redeem it, you won't be able to expand it. Other than this, there's another inventory system in the house that you need to access when your items aren't in your pockets. Then you need to import it to your pockets before crafting. The island itself has really weird priorities as well. Having a museum zone first before the store as per Tom Nook's quests. But overall, Animal Crossing is a great game, especially this quarantine, and becomes much better with multiplayer option when having Nintendo Online subscription. You get to invite your friends over and trade or gift items to each other. It's probably the best grab this quarantine if you have a Switch or a Switch Lite. Animal Crossing is one of the games we've been playing since childhood, and it's probably one of those games who makes us feel calm, collected, and makes us feel that we're in control. So if you're interested in getting Animal Crossing New Horizons, you could get it for about 2,700 pesos on online stores if you want to buy it. And it's also available in the Nintendo eShop if you want to buy a digital copy. So that's all for now, gamers. Remember to stay safe, check up on your mental health, and also check up on your friends from time to time because you'll never know who needs someone to be there to listen. Thank you, and this is once again AJ, your game analyst.
And that's it for the podcast. We hope you listeners out there had fun.
And thank you to Jared Hortaleza for giving the background music for this episode. And we hope you did enjoy this. This has been Tech Talk, and that's all we wrote.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Time to go order McDonald's.
And time to fire up Just Dance 2020. Let's go!